All right, so my name is Umar. Funny enough, my first and last name is the same. I was born in Saudi Arabia. I come from a family of, I have three siblings from my mom, and I had two older half siblings. So I lived in Saudi Arabia for about 6 years before moving to Nigeria. That's where I'm from. And I grew up in Nigeria from the age of 6 to 17, and that's when I came to America. But my time in Saudi was fun. From what I remember, it was very safe. I remember my parents letting me go out with my brother by the time we were both below the age of 10, and we'd be out to like 12 a.m., door open, and they don't really care. So it was very safe. And then in Nigeria, it's like, I think most of my values are centered from the time that I spent in Nigeria, like community, togetherness. I mean, living in a house with three other brothers and my two parents is just full house all the time. I love being around people. Um, that was definitely very fun. And then I moved here when I was 17. I moved here alone, so none of my parents are in California. My parents actually just moved from Nigeria to Florida almost a year now ago, like December 2024. Um, Ever since I moved here, it's been kind of, difficult to adjust because even when I was in Nigeria, I remember like a lot of my friends and classmates would make fun of my accent because I had an American accent since I went to an American school in Saudi. And then now that I'm here, it feels like, so it felt like I was too American in Nigeria. And then now that I'm here, I feel like I'm too African for the Americans. But it's nice. I feel like I need to, instead of shying away from and trying to fit into one, like try to silo myself into one like category, I need to understand that I'm both. Like I'm African and American. I have a dual citizenship, so I like to embrace both sides of myself. I would say so. Growing up, my dad was like very tough on me and my siblings, and I feel like I was very like soft, or I think I am very soft, but that like the toughness from my dad, like I always think, damn, why did I go through that? But I think I'm thankful for it as well because it gave me like a hardened shell that I can approach life with. Growing up, I've always seen my parents, sacrifice a lot. Like I always understand that they made sacrifices for me to be here. They would always tell me ever since I was a kid, like even if I go out to play with my friends, they're like, "Oh, don't embarrass us or don't embarrass the family name." It's something all African parents do, but it really like once you grow up and realize it really makes sense because everything you do is not only a reflection of yourself, but it's a reflection of your family, and it could go further and all the way. You can say it's just a reflection of your entire like country or like your race. Just so I hold that in the back of my mind whenever I do something. I'm not doing it for me. I'm doing it for my brothers, for my parents, and things like that. So uh, I would say just seeing my parents um, really strive to be great is the one reason why I keep going. Because a lot of people tell me that I'm like all go, I don't rest. But to me, it's like, why would I slow down when I haven't achieved everything I could possibly achieve yet? So I'm the kind of person that it's like, I'll go all the way until I have to stop. So as long as I have the energy to keep going, then I'm going to keep going. If I get knocked down, I'll, just get up and keep going. Even if I move just an inch every day, it's still motion. Definitely my childhood trauma, and this is like very recent. Like I said, my dad was like very tough, like kind of, I would say he was abusive, but I grew to understand that I grew past it. I used to like have resentment towards my dad, but I understood that he never really opened up to me about his childhood, and I understood that that was a reason. There was a reason why, because he definitely went through a lot worse. Like my aunt, his sister, she would tell us that uh, he got the worst of it all from his dad. He was the firstborn. Not only was he the firstborn, he was the firstborn like male, obviously. So he got the worst end of the stick. And she would tell us that he was afraid of his dad. So I was afraid of my dad at some point too, but I just grew past it and I realized that all the things he put me and my siblings through, it wasn't really. It's because he never healed, and just because he didn't heal doesn't mean I don't have to heal either. And I want to make it a point to break the generational trauma and not pass it down to my kids. Therapy. Honestly, I think everyone needs therapy. I don't know if you guys are aware, but like for especially, I wouldn't say African, but like for immigrant households, they look at therapy as something that's like an afterthought. They're like, because for example, like whenever I tell my parents that I'm sad, or like back when I was growing up, I'll tell them, "Oh, I'm sad." They'll be like, "Why are you sad when you have a roof over your head? Like we're feeding you, you have clothes on your back." And it's like in completely invalidating my feelings. Like just because I have a roof over my head doesn't mean I can't be sad. But I get what they're trying to say. It's just the message. They're not the message, but the way they're saying it isn't really, you know, it's not helpful because they're just trying to stress like, be grateful and stuff. Like yeah, you can be grateful, but you can still be sad. Like you don't have to invalidate people's feelings. So that was wait, what was the question one more time? Sorry.
So what steps
Oh,
did
what
you
steps? Oh
take?
yeah.
Yeah.
So I knew I needed therapy for a long time. I was just pushing it off up until like I think August when so I went through a breakup and I think that sparked I needed the therapy more for the childhood trauma, really. But then once I was navigating the breakup, I realized that I don't think I can go through this alone. So I decided to, explore my options with therapy. I was going to pay at first, but then I talked to one of my friends that he graduated from here and he said, the counseling and psychological services, they offer free therapy for the entire semester for students. So I got onto that really quick because they said the wait list was full. But ever since I've been having my sessions, I feel like I've become a lot more conscious of who I am and the things that I've gone through, and I don't hold that resentment to people anymore. I'll take this back to my internship just recently this past summer. So before the summer, I used to be shy towards like talking to people, like, or being in spaces where I was like talking in front of a group setting. And while I was at my internship, I expressed that to my manager, and he would always tell me like, you just have to fake it till you make it. Honestly, like the nerves never go away. You're always gonna be nervous regardless. It's part of being human. You just have to realize how to push through it. So whenever there was like let's say we had events with senior leaders or senior managers or the CEO even would come and talk to us and the other interns, they would look for moderators or they would have people volunteer to ask questions and things like that to keep things moderated. And I would always volunteer and put myself first. And I think that helped me lose a lot of the nerves that I had, and I just realized that everyone's human at the end of the day, and I'm really just in my own head. So that's definitely something I feel like I'm very proud of, a recent accomplishment. So a goal of mine is to become a CEO of a company. I would like to start a company, but more so, the more important one is just to become a CEO. And how I want to get there is the active steps I'm taking is obviously applying for my master's because as a CEO, you can't be a CEO without a master's in business admin. So I'm applying for an MBA. I'm also applying for this program called CMO. I think it's through UCSD. If you get in, you can get your master's paid completely. So that would really help. But also, I'm actively networking every single day. I love to meet people, and I understand that meeting people opens doors to these opportunities. I remember during my internship, I talked to a senior manager, and I was one of the only interns that got to talk to her because she was the head of the IT department, and she told me she hadn't applied to a job in 22 years. She only got to where she got because of referrals, which is why I really stress the importance of networking and meeting people and understanding. Also because I feel like most leaders these days, or most leaders that I've seen, are like very selfish, and they don't lead for the people; they lead for themselves. So I want to be able. I think I'm a people's person, so I use that as my superpower to understand people's needs, what they really want, what's important to them, and be able to lead through them, essentially. Either a scholarship or like a type of paid program. That's why I'm applying for CMOL, or that's why I'm doing this even to be able to, because I know a master's program is definitely very expensive. It's a lot more expensive than like an undergrad program, but that would definitely make my life a lot easier. Um, I feel like I'm already in a very secure position though. Like, thankfully, my internship they give me a full time offer, but they don't. I don't think they offer compensation for masters. So obviously I don't want to spend my first year working and spend like a lot of my money paying for my master's. So definitely like some sort of compensation will help. Will go a long way. My long-term career goals. So last year, I remember I'm a computer science major. Last year, I didn't really find my passion until last year. I picked computer science. I knew I wanted to do something in STEM because growing up, I've always been like I have a very analytical like problem solving mindset. Like I like to do puzzles. I remember I had an obsession with Rubik's cubes at some point, and I like to talk to people as well. So I didn't know where to go within computer science up until last year, where I discovered that I wanted to do data analytics, something within the field of data analytics. So be able to like read data and transform it and explain what that data means to someone. So like understand that all data tells a story and just transfer the technical side of it to a non-technical, being able to transfer the technical side of it to a non-technical person. So my internship was something along the lines of data analytics. I worked as an internal auditor. So that necessarily isn't directly data analytics, but I'm doing a lot of the work that data analysts do, which is like reading spreadsheets, understanding what those spreadsheets mean, figuring out outliers in a large set of data and things like that. What I'm doing to work towards that is, continuing to network, involve myself in spaces that surround myself with like-minded individuals. Like I currently serve as the secretary for the National Society of Black Engineers, which is a very big club. It's a national club, and there's chapters across all organizations. So, just being in that space not only breathes confidence into myself, but also opens up a lot of doors and opportunities for me to network with big companies and like heads and directors at said big companies. For me, success looks like being able to take care of the people I love, whether that be my family, like wife and kids. Because I grew up in a traditional household where I believe that, or I saw my dad, like my mom was a housewife, and my dad was working, and he was able to take care of all of us and take care of our extended family too. So that's not my goal to take care of like family that's beyond the nuclear family, but I want to be able to, if I can, I want to be able to provide for my wife and kids and not have my wife like work at all. But if she wants to work, that's fine too. But that that is a great measure of success as well. And also take care of my little brothers. I have two little brothers, and they mean the world to me. I know they look up to me every single day. So just seeing them strive and be great as well, seeing me as an inspiration, whether or not they admit it, they try not to. That's another great measure of success. And also, I really love to put people on. Like if I know of an opportunity, I call someone that may be interested in that opportunity and help them out with that. So that those are, I would say, three great measures of success for me.
Yeah.
People think I'm cocky, and I think it's funny. I mean I kind of take it as a compliment because I think I'm very humble. I like to believe that I'm very humble. I'm very centered. I'm very spiritual as well. Like I'm Muslim, and I truly believe that I wouldn't be here without the grace of God. So nothing I do is really because of my hard work. It's just because of my belief in God and my mom's prayers. So I give all things to God every single day. Whenever I wake up, the first thing I say is like Alhamdulillah, which means like I'm just thanking God immediately for being able to just walk, breathe, open my eyes, and not have any problems with that. I just how it differs is I know there's a thin line between being confident and cocky. I think I'm just very confident in the sense that I really believe that whatever I put my mind to, I can do it, and I have track record to show that in the sense that everything that I know I've put my mind to, I've been good at. Like I played, I ran track, I played soccer in high school, or soccer like ever since I was four I've been playing. But I'm good at soccer. I was good when I ran track. I only started playing basketball like 2 years ago when I moved here, and I would say I'm better than most people that have been playing their whole life. So, and that's because of the dedication I put towards it. When I want to achieve something, I become a nerd about it. I learn everything. Like for example, with the basketball, like I watch videos on YouTube breaking down certain moves or certain play styles. I watch coaches break down systems of how to play defense and things like that. So yeah, that's one thing people assume about me, but it really isn't true, I would say.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, nothing does come to mind, but I will say I am glad to be able to share my story. I tell my friends, whatever I do, I honestly do it for I do it for the love of the game because I love the hustle. I don't really do it for the glory. So even if I don't get the scholarship, I'll still be happy regardless, knowing that I was able to do something as great as this. Like that's why I asked for the footage earlier, just so I could be able to look back on this moments like this. I'm just very grateful to be here.